Hello. So Robert Mueller's report is released, and the left goes insane. Plus, Michael Avenatti is arrested for extortion. I'm going to get to all of it. My name is Sean Clinton, and this is the God and Freedom Show. All right. I hope everyone had a great weekend. We have a lot to get to, so let's not waste any time. So on Friday, just shortly after I released the second episode of the God and Freedom Show, the news broke out that Robert Mueller had finished his final report. Robert Mueller, of course, we all know, is the special counsel hired to investigate to whether or not Trump and his team colluded with Russia to influence the 2016 presidential election. And after 2 years of this long investigation, fake bombshells, horrible reporting by the media, is finally done. And then over the weekend, we were all just dreading to see what was on the report. Then on Sunday, William Barr, the Attorney General, released a summary of the report. Basically, in a short summary, Mueller found zip, no evidence that Trump colluded with Russia or that he obstructed justice in any way. And this is not me saying it. This is completely on the report, and I'm going to give you the entire report right here. All right. So basically, here's what it says. On Friday, the special counsel submitted to me a confidential report explaining the prosecution or declaration decisions he had reached as required by 24 CFR $600.80 or whatever. This report is entitled Report on the Investigation into Russian Interference in the 2016 Presidential Election. Although my review is ongoing, I believe that it is in the public interest to describe the report and to summarize the principal conclusions reached by the special counsel and the results of his investigation. The report explains that the special counsel and his staff thoroughly investigated allegations that members of the presidential campaign of Donald J. Trump and others associated with it conspired with the Russian government in its efforts to interfere in the 2016 U.S. presidential election or sought to obstruct the related federal investigations. In the report, the special counsel noted that in completing his investigation, he employed 19 lawyers who were assisted by a team of approximately 40 FBI agents, intelligence analysis, forensic accountants, and other professional staff. The special counsel issued more than 2,800 subpoenas, executed nearly 500 search warrants, and obtained more than 230 orders of communication records, issued almost 50 orders authorizing use of pen registers, and made 13 requests to foreign governments and for evidence, and interviewed approximately 500 witnesses. And here's page 1 of the document. The special counsel obtained a number of indictments and the convictions of individuals and entities in connection with his investigation, all of which have been publicly disclosed. During the course of his investigation, the special counsel also referred several matters to other offices for further action. The report does not recommend any further indictments, nor did the special counsel obtain any sealed indictments that have yet to be made public. Below, I summarize the principal conclusions set out in the special counsel's report. And this is talking about the Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. The special counsel's report is divided into two parts. If the first describes the results of the special counsel's investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. The report outlines the Russian effort to influence the election and documents crimes committed by persons associated with the Russian government in connection with those efforts. The report further explains that a primary consideration for the Special Counsel's investigation was whether any Americans, including individuals associated with the Trump campaign, joined the Russian conspiracies to influence the election, which would be a federal crime. The Special Counsel's investigation did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired or coordinated with Russia in its efforts to influence the 2016 U.S. presidential election. And, yep. There's no buts or anything. That's just period. No. Yep. Anyways, it continues. As the report states, the investigation did not establish the members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. The Special Counsel's investigation determined that there were two main Russian efforts to influence the 2016 election. The first involved attempts by the Russian organization, the Internet Research Agency, to conduct disinformation and social media operations in the United States designed to sow social discord and eventually with the aim of interfering with the election. As noted above, the Special Counsel did not find any U.S. person or Trump campaign official or associate expired or knowingly coordinated with the IRA in its efforts, although the Special Counsel brought criminal charges against a member of Russian nationals and entities connection with these activities. The second element involved the Russian government's efforts to conduct computer hacking operations designed to gather and disseminate information to influence the election. The Special Counsel found that Russian government actors successfully hacked into computers and obtained emails from persons affiliated with the Clinton campaign and Democratic Party organizations and publicly disseminated those materials through various intermediaries, including WikiLeaks. Based on these activities, the Special Counsel brought criminal charges against a member of Russian military officers or for conspiring to hack into the computers in the United States for purposes of influencing the election. But as noted above, the Special Counsel did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired and coordinated with Russia in these efforts, despite multiple offers from Russian affiliated individuals to assist the Trump campaign. So yeah, and this is basically a short short summary. Yep, Mueller found zero evidence of that Trump colluded with Russia to influence the 2016 election, which, I mean, pretty much every conservative kind of knew all along, but I myself and many other conservatives were willing to wait for evidence to make our final judgments, and the evidence is here, and yep, and that's that. And of course, the left is not very happy about it, but I'll get to all that later. Here's the second page, and this is covering the obstruction of justice. Of course, another accusation against President Trump over this is basically he obstructed justice by firing James Comey. But so far, I mean, I've seen actual law about it, and it's very, you had to have intent to actually obstruct justice, and then there's no way to tell. It's very hard. Alright, so basically what I was saying is that you gotta have intent to actually try to obstruct justice, and also you gotta actually, it has to actually be proven that the investigation was impeded in any way. And from what Mueller found, there was no Trump didn't impede the investigation in any way. I mean, all he did was fire Comey. I mean, if he had fired Mueller, that would have been a completely different situation. But I mean, other than that, there was zero evidence. They obstructed it, and tweets do not count. But anyways, here's the summary about it. The report's second part addresses the number of actions by the president, most of which have been the subject of public reporting, that the Special Counsel investigated as potentially raising obstruction of justice concerns. After making a thorough factual investigation into these matters, the Special Counsel considered whether or not to evaluate the conduct under the Department of Standards governing prosecution and declination decisions, but ultimately determined not to make any traditional prosecutorial judgment. The Special Counsel therefore did not draw any conclusion one way or another as to whether the examined conduct constituted obstruction. Instead, for each of the relevant actions investigated, the report sets out evidence on both sides of the question and leaves unresolved that the Special Counsel views as difficult issues of law and fact concerning whether the president's actions and intent could be viewed as obstruction. Special Counsel states that while this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it does not exonerate him. And that's the line that the left has been using to kind of spin this way. Like, even though there's no underlying crime, he's still not exonerated from it. Which, I mean, for one, it doesn't make sense. I mean, if there's no underlying crime, how can you obstruct justice? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Plus, the phrase like does not exonerate him. I mean, that phrase itself doesn't make sense because you had to be charged with a crime to be exonerated from it. I mean, I guess a better phrase would be that he would be, like, I guess, vindicated from it. But but then again, but I don't work in this whole area. But still, I mean, overall, you get my point. I mean, the left is trying to just use that line to try to cast shadow all over this whole thing. But I mean, once again, there's no underlying crime, so you can't obstruct justice with no crime. So that's probably one of the reasons why Mueller is not gonna conduct any further action regarding this area. Alright, it continues. The Special Counsel's decision to describe the facts of his obstruction investigation without reaching any legal conclusions leaves it to the Attorney General to determine whether the conduct described in the report constitutes a crime. Over the course of the investigation, Special Counsel's office engaged in discussions with certain department officials regarding many of the legal and factual matters issued in the Special Counsel's obstruction investigation. After reviewing the Special Counsel's final report on these issues, consulting with department officials, including the Office of Legal Counsel, in applying the principles of federal prosecution that guide our charging decisions, Deputy Attorney General Robert Mueller and I concluded that the evidence developed during the Special Counsel's investigation is not sufficient to establish that the President committed an obstruction of the justice offense. Our determination was made without regard to, and is not based on, the constitutional considerations that surrounded the indictment and criminal prosecution of a sitting president. All right, and that's another part that the left is trying to pick at this whole report. They've been nitpicking at this whole entire report and trying to, discredit Barr's full summary. But again, I'll get to that in just a little bit. Basically, another part they're trying to pick at is where it says Robert Mueller and him are concluded that the evidence is just not sufficient enough to charge President Trump with any obstruction. So basically, so no collusion, no exception. Wasted 2 years. All for this. Which, Again, most of us conservatives kind of knew this was going to happen in the first place, but again, we were willing to wait for evidence. And I mean, here we are, wasted thousands, millions of dollars, 2 years, all for nothing. And how does the left handle this? Did they handle it with class, and did they apologize to President Trump for all this? Well, of course not. They actually been trying to spin it away from all this, basically saying that one way they've been spinning it is basically saying that Barr is lying about Mueller's report, that he's leaving out like evidence that the collusion did take place or whatever, which makes no sense in any way. I mean, if you were lying, Mueller would have come out by now. And it's Wednesday. The report came out on Sunday, and Mueller has to come out. Because you remember, back in January, BuzzFeed released an article about the Mueller investigation that was completely false, and like probably less than 24 hours later, Mueller came out and completely said this is flat out false, and he hasn't done that here. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious that this is all true. But I mean, of course, I mean, when the actual report, I mean, that's what they're trying to push to get the actual report of Mueller to get released, because they can't accept the summary of it. But I mean, when the report is released and it shows the exact same thing, they're not going to accept it. They're probably going to make more excuses like Mueller is compromised, or that he was somehow blackmailed or threatened in any way to grab his report and it's in a different way. I mean, they still won't accept it, because even though we're 2 years into this presidency, they still cannot accept that Hillary Clinton lost fair and square in the election, and they'll do anything to try to squash that and try to get President Trump out of office. So anyways, the media has been any better on all this. Yeah, they tried, I mean, they started on Friday when this broke out about that Mueller was finished up his report, and also he said that he wasn't gonna recommend any more indictments. There were many members of the media that were actually crying on air. Rachel Maddow was crying. I forget who else, but I mean, no, yeah. So yeah, they've been trying their best trying to spin away from this. Even Brian Stelter. Yeah, Brian Stelter had a couple of tweets out about this. One of them was there's been so much solid reporting about the Trump-Russia mystery, but the media ecosystem tends to reward speculation over straight news. Are there always change for this? Of course, yes. And the idea that the media has so much solid reporting over this whole thing is nonsense. There've been fake bombshell after fake bombshell, but over the past 2 years, I can't even count them. I mean, it's been ridiculous. Even members of the so-called objective media has been awful at this, saying that each little fake bombshell that comes out, they're all you can see their kind of excited faces, and all that. It just is ridiculous. I mean, there's many members of the media trying to push away from this. Andrea Mitchell over at NBC tweeted out, key to know prosecution on obstruction of justice may not be no evidence of an underlying crime of conspiracy with Russia, but did Mueller not find evidence of conspiracy with Russia because so many people lied? What? No, I mean, he did not find any evidence of conspiracy because there was no evidence of conspiracy. I mean, simple as that. Yeah, the media spin is just ridiculous. I mean, and you'll know that they won't actually apologize to the president or any other official that was under investigation from Mueller, because I mean, they're so like high on the pedestal that they don't think they can do anything wrong, and their views that they're actual victims. Like they're actually so shocked that anybody will actually criticize them for the reporting. I mean, it's just ridiculous. All right, in other news, Michael Avenatti has been arrested for extortion with Nike. CNBC. This is reported by CNBC right here. Celebrity lawyer Michael Avenatti was arrested on Monday in New York City on charges of trying to extort up to $25 million from Nike by threatening to publicize claims that company employees authorized payments to families of top high school basketball players. Avenatti also was separately charged in a second federal case in Los Angeles with embezzling a client's money in order to pay his own expenses and debts, and those of his law firm and coffee company, and of defrauding a Bank of Mississippi, prosecutor said. He faces almost 100 years in prison if convicted in both cases, as well as possible disbarment as a lawyer. The famously aggressive litigator gained okay. I just ignore all that, but so yeah, if you recall, Michael Avenatti was the lawyer for Stormy Daniels, who's the porn star that President Trump slept with about back in 2006, and she then he paid her off, and then she sued him for that, and then created this whole mess of whether Trump violated campaign finance laws, which, I mean, that's a whole topic for another day. But I mean, as a call, Michael Avenatti was kind of a joke from the beginning. It's obvious that he did not like President Trump. There was actually one point where he considered running for president, which I kind of wanted to, because I was rooting for entertainment, and that would have just been hilarious for the lawyer of the woman that Trump slept with back in 2006. Going at each other in a presidential debate would have been hilarious. Oh man, whatever. But it's not surprising that it's happened. I mean, Michael Avenatti has always been kind of shady. Even Stormy Daniels had said that. She said that while Mike was a good lawyer, that she knew that he was capable of this or whatever. I don't remember the exact quote, but. So the most hilarious part about all this was that on Monday, about approximately an hour before news broke out that Michael Avenatti has been arrested, he tweeted this out. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be holding a press conference to disclose a major high school and college basketball scandal perpetrated by Nike that we have uncovered. The criminal conduct reaches the highest levels of Nike and involves some of the biggest names in college basketball. And an hour later, he's arrested. So yeah, that's all wonderful. And for those who don't know what exactly extortion is, it's basically when you threaten a company or someone with to get some kind of money, services, whatever, through coercion, like blackmail, for example, would be a good one, which is what Avenatti had done. So yeah, that's all good stuff, and it's funny enough that it happened on Monday. I mean, Monday was a all-around great day for Republicans. Let just melt down over Mueller report. This happened. It was great. All right, so to end off these episodes, I'm gonna start to do something new this week. I'm here until now. Now on whatever. Sorry. Basically, I'm gonna have little segments to kind of end off the episode. Basically, for example, on Wednesday, I'm gonna be doing good news / bad news of the week, whatever. And then on Friday, I'll be doing faith-based theological stuff. Just find something to do with the Christian faith or something, and just kind of talk about it. So today being Wednesday, we're gonna do good news slash bad news. On the good news, this week was on Sunday. The state of Georgia, my home state, passed the heartbeat bill, which would have banned abortions after 6 weeks, which is absolutely awesome. Here's a kind of more explanation in the AJC, which is the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. There's a newspaper over here in Atlanta. All right, the Georgia Senate on Friday approved what would be among the strictest abortion laws in the country on a party line vote after more than 4 hours of debate on Friday, not Sunday. House Bill 481 would outlaw abortions once the doctor detects a heartbeat in the womb, which usually is about 6 weeks into pregnancy and before most women know they are pregnant. And current Georgia law allows abortions to be performed until 20 weeks. So yeah, this is a great change, and yeah, I was always hoping that Georgia will actually fall in line with the other states like Missouri and Ohio who are doing all this, and I'm very glad they did that. And of course, members of the left is not very happy about this. But I mean, most people that are not happy about this are like people that don't even live in Georgia, like Alyssa Milano, for example. Here's what she tweeted out when the Senate passed the bill. There are over 20 productions shooting in Georgia, and the state just voted to strip women of their bodily anatomy, which no, they did not. They voted to protect the unborn. It has nothing to do with the woman's body. So anyways, continues. Hollywood would just stop feeding the Georgia economy. And tweets like hashtag HB 481 is bad for business. Heartbeat bill, yeah. Which maybe some of these productions will leave Georgia, maybe not. But I don't see that happening. Because Georgia gives a great tax benefits for productions, and we have quite a lot of big name productions here in Georgia. We got The Walking Dead films here in Georgia, Stranger Things on Netflix, some of the Marvel movies films here in Georgia, all kinds of movies. So maybe they'll move, maybe they will not, but then again, I don't see why we should care what Alyssa Milano has to say. But then again, I'm very happy that Georgia did this. It's great to see so many states around pushing this sort of stuff, especially with New York and Vermont pushing their radical abortion laws, basically allowing abortion up to point of birth, and then seeing more states than them coming back and banning abortions. It's kind of Satan does something to try to kind of mess with your faith, but God comes right back and stomps on him. It's just cool all around, and I'm happy for that. All right, and bad news for the week. Jussie Smollett has been all of his charges have been dropped, and as you recall, Jussie Smollett was the guy, the actor who's on Empire. He's the same guy who faked a hate crime. Basically, where he has said that in the middle of Chicago at 2 a.m. in the morning after you grab a Subway sandwich, that he was attacked by 2 racist white Trump supporters, shouting gay slurs and saying that this is MAGA country or whatever. Which from the onset that didn't make any sense. The idea of redneck Trump supporters being out in the middle of Chicago at 2 a.m. in the morning, just so happens to find a gay black man in that same street. It doesn't wash for me. Plus Chicago voted heavily for Hillary. Whatever. But all of his charges have been So let me go on. Basically, as we found out over the course of time that he actually faked. This Mulder, he like wrote a check to he actually hired two bodybuilders from Nigeria to attack him and pose as the Trump supporters, and he which evidence of it, he wrote a check for them, and then they bought a list of supplies like noose, red hats, bleach, which is all what Smollett claimed that was used on him during the attack. So, I mean, after all the evidence, all charges have been dropped against him. Why? Well, because he's a Hollywood reporter, and I guess he knows people in high places or whatever. I mean, that's my guess. But here's what an article in TMZ says. Today, all criminal charges against Jussie Smollett were dropped, and his record has been wiped clean of the filing of this tragic complaint against him. Jussie was attacked by two people while he was unable to identify on January 29th. He was a victim who was vilified and made to appear as a perpetrator as a result of false and inappropriate remarks made to the public, causing an inappropriate racial judgment. Oh yeah, so, but I mean, calling all Trump supporters racist for this one incident was a racial judgment. Even though we didn't know evidence of this, you immediately believed the story wasn't a racial judgment. But whatever. Jussie and his many others were hurt by these unfair and unwarranted actions. This entire situation is a reminder that there should never be an attempt to prove a case in the public court of opinion. Okay? I mean, where was this mentality with the Russia stuff? Where was this mentality with Brett Kavanaugh? Where was this mentality with the Covington High School students? I mean, the double standard of the media is astonishing. But anyways, the state district attorney Kim Fox released a statement, and here's what she said. After reviewing all the facts and circumstances of the case, including Mr. Smollett's volunteer service in the community and agreement to forfeit his bond to the city of Chicago, we believe this outcome is a disposition and appropriate resolution to this case. And I mean, she gets like no explanation whether or not like actually found like evidence in the contrary to what we found over the course of time. Basically without reason, like all of his charges were dropped and his record wiped clean. It's very fishy, very, very fishy, and I'm trying to get more updates as it goes on about this. But interestingly enough, one thing to add, Kim Fox, district attorney, was a aide to Michelle Obama, and there's a whole like kind of scandal around that. So I mean, and I'll talk about that on Friday, maybe. So yeah, I think that whole situation is very fishy and all that. But all right, I mean that's all I have for today. I'll see y'all guys on Friday. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day and have a great day tomorrow. I'll see y'all then. My name is Sean Clinton, and this is the God of Freedom Show.